Hello everybody, Oliver G here from the Eiffel Tower, and today we're going to be doing a challenge that I call the Underrated, Overrated Challenge with my special guest Marie Segura from My Private Paris, tour guide extraordinaire and company co-founder. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right, but I'm worried for you.
Why?
Because you're going to say that things in your beloved city are overrated.
Yeah, but I think people like the authenticity and and for us to be true with them. So
okay, well let's test your let's figure out who you are first. Were you born in Paris?
I wasn't born in Paris. I was born in Tours, which is in the Loire Valley, but I grew up in Paris.
Does that make you an official Parisian? Do you have to be born within? Do they have something like that in Paris?
I don't know if we have to be born, but for sure that's my only city that I'm feeling attached to. So, and this is where I lived for many, many years.
Right. I remember you said on the show once when you were like a schoolgirl, you used to take the bus past the Eiffel Tower or something like that.
Exactly.
So you've had this Paris instilled from a very young age. Now you're a tour guide.
Totally. Yeah.
And you studied.
I studied literature and history.
Right.
Yeah.
And why did you become a tour guide?
That's a very good question. I think I like to talk and I like to share culture with people.
Right.
And at one point it was through books because I was a publisher.
Right.
And but I kind of prefer to be outside and walk and talk. So yeah.
Do you find that when you give tours, you keep coming back to books? Are you like, it's just like in this Victor Hugo book, or it doesn't happen like that?
Yeah. No, I think to me Paris is very related to his literature. So yeah.
Maybe that can be the first question. Do you think French literature is on the world stage underrated or overrated?
I think we're looking, and that's for France and international, I think we're looking at French authors as the 19th century and the 20th century, and we're not really interested in whatever is new and upcoming and contemporary. So I would say in that sense, maybe Victor Hugo and all of the big characters of literature, they are maybe overrated in that sense, like they are like looked up as gods of literature. And probably the contemporary literature is underrated for that reason. That's
interesting, because it's true. When you say French literature, you always, at least I always think about the old people. Although, didn't you have a Nobel Prize winner fairly recently?
Oh, no, I don't think so. Oh, well, I don't know.
Who am I thinking of?
I don't know.
No, neither do I. Let's get into it, though. We're not here to talk about literature. We're here to talk about overrated and underrated things. We brainstormed a list. I was surprised by some of them. And I want you to justify where maybe we'll switch between overrated and underrated. You said Montmartre is overrated.
I think the experience of Montmartre, for a lot of people, they expect something that is lovely, charming, colorful, which it could be sometime in the winter on a Monday morning.
Yeah.
But mostly the people are going in June, where there is 100,000 of people in Place du Tertre, which is supposedly beautiful and authentic. Yeah. And it's when you experience that, you have this feeling like, okay, this is not the Montmartre that they had in their dreams, right? They are seeing something that is overpacked, with a cafe that is disgusting, and somehow painters that are only painting the Eiffel Tower. So it's not exactly the experience they were, looking for. And I understand that. So I would say that. Same thing for Sacré-Cœur. A lot of people are lining up for so long, and then when you enter, they realize that it's not exactly the feeling that they have like in Notre Dame or in different churches. There is this kind of touristy feeling about it. So I would say, for that reason, maybe a little bit overrated. But it's still beautiful just whenever you have the chance to go at the right moment.
Well, that's the thing. So it's a question about the right time, or is it more a question of go to other parts of Montmartre besides Place du Tertre?
Obviously, if you can wander around, like I was thinking like the Rue de l'Abreuvoir. You probably know Rue de l'Abreuvoir is with Place d'Alida, with this beautiful bust. And this is one of the streets that is the most lovely. And to me, that's 100 times better than Place du Tertre for that reason. But you have also the vineyards. There's lovely Lapin Agile. So if you have a guided tour, for example, you can explore different parts of Montmartre and not just being stuck in Place du Tertre or Sacré-Cœur.
I've seen people share on social media, Montmartre, never go there. And I always think, no.
It's because they don't go to the right places.
I got invited to a wedding this summer in the Musée de Montmartre.
Nice. I actually did my niece were baptized, and that's where we did a party there as well.
I didn't even realize that it was open to the...
Yeah, you can privatize the place.
Awesome. Okay. That sounds like an underrated thing.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
We're going to add that to the list.
Maybe. This is another unusual choice. You said that the Mona Lisa is underrated.
Yes.
Underrated.
Yes, I know. It sounds weird, but People are considering Mona Lisa as just one, tick box, like just going there, having a picture, having a selfie, not even listening to the story behind, not even considering it as an artwork and an art piece that is placed in this century with different painting in the Louvre that could be also related to it. I think people are just considering like, yeah, okay, that's something we should do, we should see, and that's it. And it just passed like 2 minutes in front of it.
Right.
And being able to listen to hear the whole story, how it was stolen, how it's important for the arts in general. Like, I think, for that reason, I consider this underrated in the sense that they don't really care about it. They just want to take a selfie with it, which I feel a bit sad.
That's interesting. I never thought about how it's important for the arts.
For the artistry,
I never thought about
it's
that.
major,
Because it made people,
the fact that this great painter made so many years, like just trying to make it perfect, like apparently, the legends say that he never really finished it, right? So that's mean for him, it was, still in progress, still a work that he wanted to complete, wanted to make it to perfection. And I feel like it's very, very intriguing.
He might, if he came back to Earth and saw people lining up and taking photos, he might be like, it's not finished.
Exactly. Like, what are you doing?
It's not finished. Overrated, the summit of the Eiffel Tower. One of the most popular things to do in the city of Paris is overrated.
I think so, in the sense that people, they want to see the Eiffel Tower, they want to go on it, and then they want to go on the summit. And I'm like, okay, there is two things. You can go on the Eiffel Tower, you can go on the second floor, which to me is the best floor because the view is excellent.
The second of the 3 floors, essentially.
Yeah, exactly, the middle of it.
Because I know in America and... So there's the first floor you reach. Did you call that the first or the second floor?
Yeah.
Okay, and then the second floor is halfway up, let's say.
Exactly.
And then the summit is at the very top, the windy part.
Exactly. So to me, the best spot is where you have, the cafes, you have the view also is great because you don't have a grid in front of your eyes. You really have the entire panorama. And to go up to the summit, you have to line again to get to another elevators that is very small. So then after that, you go all the way up and then it's cloudy, windy. You have the grid in front of your eyes. So you're like, oh, okay. So to me, getting on the Eiffel Tower, yes, of course. The summit, though, for if you have no tickets to go to the summit and you do have tickets to go to the second, go to the second. And
Great
your
advice.
experience is going to be really nice. You don't have to reach the summit to enjoy the Eiffel Tower.
You know what I like is when you say the name of it, you say it French. And it sounds like you say Eiffel Tower, the name of the podcast. And every time you say it, I'm like, woohoo, Eiffel Tower. Because in Australia, we go Eiffel.
Eiffel Tower.
But in French, you pronounce it, it strikes
Tower,
me, it almost sounds like Eiffel. Eiffel. There's a tip. So tell me how you say it in French. Teach me perfect
Tour
French.
Eiffel?
Yeah.
Tour Eiffel.
One more time.
Tour Eiffel.
Tour Eiffel.
Oui.
Okay. Hard to say. It's not easy to say, but it does sound a bit like Eiffel. Just getting my name of the podcast out there as well. Back to underrated. Something you talked about on the show before, the Palais Garnier.
Yes, Opéra Garnier is it's a magnificent palace really in the middle of Paris, in a neighborhood that is not that lovely to walk around. That's probably why people are not thinking about opera because around there is no parks or you go by metro, by car. But then when you arrive there, it's just amazing. Like everything is gold and you have lights and you have mosaics and you have paintings and you feel like you're in a superb palace. And definitely underrated.
It's got a bit of Versailles feel to it.
Completely. Yeah. You have the Hall of Mirrors. You have those huge stairs where you can see yourself out of one balcony looking down and with your beautiful gown. So yes, of course.
Have you ever thought, here's a business idea for you. Have you ever thought about doing a tour that's called Versailles without leaving Paris? And you spend a day going to...
From palaces to palaces.
Palaces to palaces, the Apollo Gallery of the Louvre, maybe in the Musée des Archives a little bit, and then just say, you've basically done it now without having to go out. Do you think that would work?
I would love to do that, but in a dress.
Yeah.
With the actual size of a crinoline in a dress.
I would love to do it in a dress as well. I'll come with you. Okay, Palais Garnier, yeah, nice. I went to the opera at the Théâtre du Châtelet recently. That was quite nice as well. Yeah, very beautiful. The city's got a lot of beautiful buildings, I'm starting to realize. What about the Champs-Élysées? Apparently it's overrated.
Again, people have an expectation when it comes to the Champs-Élysées. They think that they will go to this most beautiful avenue of the world and everything's going to be, shining. And And then you arrive there, you realize it's very long, it's going up, so it could be exhausting to go up the Champs-Élysées. Then you realize also, okay, there is Vuitton, there's those big brands, but at the same time, there's also, I don't know, like some fast food on the side, and you do have a lot of people that are just hanging in the street, and just, I mean, there is no, like, a lovely atmosphere as you could imagine. Avenue Montaigne is a bit the same. It's a desert, empty street.
I agree.
You know what I mean? So there is no, I don't think there is a soul in the Champs-Élysées as people could imagine, you know.
You know, you and I recorded on the Champs-Élysées.
I do remember, yeah.
Years ago, and that was the episode that the New York Times wrote up about.
Oh.
And they were like, they were quoting it and everything. So me and you have history on the Champs-Élysées. Also, for the first time ever, I looked up the lyrics to that song. Aux Champs-Élysées.
Yes,
by Dessin. I had no idea what it was about. It's a really lovely little story.
It is.
It's a lovely little story.
And maybe that's also why the romantic feeling of the Champs-Élysées is coming from. Maybe the song is, is putting the Champs-Élysées as, oh, wow, I will wander in the street, I will meet this beautiful girl, and then we're going to wander in the Champs. No, it's not happening
It
like
doesn't
that.
fit. It feels more like a Montmartre song. It should be Rue des Abbesses. Don't you think?
Yeah, it could
I could buy that story happening in... It's got that sort of La Bohème feel about it. Not Champs-Élysées. It must have been a different time, Joe.
But, I mean, in Champs-Élysées, what I love, and that is a little bit underrated, is the Arc de Triomphe. So going up the Arc de Triomphe. So even if the Champs-Élysées can have this, like, vibe that it's a bit, not exactly the soul of Paris. But if you go up the Arc de Triomphe, you will have a pretty spectacular view.
Yeah, I think for my money, I'd say if you're a tourist coming to Paris and you really want to see the Champs-Élysées, go to Concorde, just look down it, and that'll do.
Yeah, you could do either from the Concorde or from the Arc.
I remember my first trip to Paris, I walked the whole Champs-Élysées and
up or down?
Uphill as well. Gosh.
Hard. Exhausting.
Underrated. Very central Paris.
Yeah, we think, I don't know if you're familiar with Les Halles and with Châtelet, which is considered really the belly of Paris, and really the very center of Paris. But this poor neighborhood was, changed so many times, in the past decades. So that's probably why people are now avoiding the place, saying like, okay, it's still under construction or something. No, it's not anymore. And there is this church, Saint Eustache, that is right in the middle. That is really worth having a look at it. And those two streets, Montorgueil and Rue Montmartre also, those two little streets are full of food and great stores. Yep. And it's pedestrian also on one side. The second arrondissement of Paris, this is really underrated. And
it's changing a lot. I lived there, do you know Rue Greneta? Just off Montorgueil? I lived there for the first 2 years I was in Paris.
And it's beautiful, isn't it?
An amazing area, but I went back there again with fresh eyes now. After 8 years, couldn't believe how much it's changed. So many new places. There used to be a lot of sex shops around there on Rue Saint-Denis. But the streets between Rue de Montmartre and Rue de Montorgueil, they all seem like they've become pedestrianized and really cool hangout spots.
Exactly.
I think you're absolutely right. Totally underrated. Go and stay there. Go and stay there today.
Yeah.
But overrated, Catacombs.
Okay, that's maybe a personal point of view.
It's okay, that's important.
Catacombs, it's, again, they are expecting something. They want to have, I don't know, their goosebump, and they want to have this expression to go into this almost illegal place or something like that, forbidden place. So they arrive, and there is this beautiful corridors and quarries. But then when they arrive to the bone section, let's say, there is one feeling of like, ooh, some skulls are here. And then little by little, you just like, okay, there is more bones and more skulls and more bones and more. Yeah. So in my mind, personally, I was a bit disappointed. Yeah. And I think that a lot of people are expecting something like, wow, the experience of their lifetime, like being in the middle of millions of dead people. Yeah. And then you realize it's like, okay, it looks more decoration somehow.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? So I would rather go to Père Lachaise cemetery. To me, like if I wanted this experience to me in a gothic kind of feeling, I will really, really go to Père Lachaise. But Catacombs, the tickets are quite expensive as well.
Do you know what they cost now? What do they cost now?
It's about 30 something per person. Yeah, and it's not very long. Like it's maybe 45 minutes max. The experience. So that's probably also why I'm I consider that overrated.
I can see what you mean. I
You
can see
lining
both sides.
up,
I can see some people that might have like a almost like spiritual thing going on that I didn't feel when I was there. But I get what you mean. It is just skulls and bones.
At one point, you're like, okay. But it's still, I would say, going by yourself is definitely overrated. But if you go with a private guide, for example, you have access to rooms that are not accessible to anyone. I would think that would be worth, because you will understand more of how they build the place and why is it so important for Parisian, and you will see some carving work. So I would say that would be the way to do it.
Have you been to the illegal part?
Not yet. I'm not sure I want to go though, because I heard that some people are getting lost there, and I'm kind of afraid to be stuck underground.
Fair enough. We shouldn't encourage it anyway.
No.
Underrated Rodin Museum.
Oh yeah. Have you been there?
I used to live across the way.
So it was your garden almost, right?
I love that. I think it should be on everyone's first trip to Paris.
I agree. I mean, the garden is full of those sculptures that everyone knows, such as, of course, the Thinker.
Yeah.
But also you have roses when it's the season that are blooming all over. The Hôtel Particulier itself is interesting. It's also where Rodin really worked. So there is so much history there and art, and it's in the middle of the Seven, which is the neighborhood that not a lot of people are, just discovering. So Rodin on the first, like you say, on the list. It's not far from the Invalides also.
Yeah. I think just the building is worth it. Just the garden is worth it. So you could do either. Yeah.
Sure. Even if you don't know Rodin very well. And I think that's why people are not going there. They're afraid that, I don't really know Rodin. I
don't be afraid, guys. Go and see it.
Just go and enjoy. Yeah.
Nearby, in fact, next door, the tomb of Napoleon. Most would say underrated. Not you. No. Overrated.
So it depends on if you heard about the Tomb of Napoleon before or not. Like, let's say you heard about it's a great place to go, you have to go. I would say, yes, the chapel, the cathedral and the whole thing around it is interesting. But the tomb itself, to me, it's a very cold place. Yeah. Like, you arrive there and I don't know, I was expecting maybe a statue of Napoleon or a little bit of the life of the emperor, something like that. And it's this very huge tomb with really not much to look at,
Yeah.
It's just like this huge block of red,
like marble or whatever it is. Yeah.
Exactly. It's a bit weird,
I think you fear the dead. That's why there's a theme.
No, I love Père Lachaise.
It's true.
Or maybe I fear Napoleon. That's going to be true.
Yeah,
that's
But Catacombs and Napoleon. It's there isn't much life to those two things.
But again, I'm talking really about the tomb itself. But the Invalides is worth to visit for sure. The dome is beautiful. The cathedral, like I say, it's beautiful. The museum is interesting. The entire Invalides is interesting. It's just the tomb itself, that really this block thing that is like, to me.
That's cool because I think. I bet you get this on your tours, that there are a lot of people who don't know what that big gold dome is, and they see it from the Eiffel Tower when they walk around the 7th. There are a lot of people who have no idea what it is, let alone that Napoleon is buried there. And I used to live right across from that, and I was stunned by how beautiful that is with the gold.
Oh yeah, the building is just amazing. And you remember when the Olympics happened and we had this, so they were doing the archery there, and I was so lucky being like really there, looking at the dome, looking at all this gold shining and looking at the archery. I was like, okay, this is a dream, really. So I love it.
I would love to get on the balcony that runs around the top of that gold. Have you been up there?
No, not yet.
I messaged him on Instagram once and I was like, I live next door, can I come up?
It's also where the snipers, I think, are protecting the building. Yeah.
Gosh, I shouldn't have had my zoom-in camera on them. A little tip, that exceptionally beautiful at night, the gold dome, because they put the lights on it sometimes, and you can take the most amazing pictures of that. And we've been racing through this, but we're at the 10th thing here now, and it's underrated, and it's the Musée de Cluny, the George Clooney Homage Museum.
I would love underrated. That. Imagine like getting an espresso and just having George Clooney all over.
It's not George Clooney.
It's not this one. So in the middle of the Latin Quarter, there is like Cluny Museum dedicated to Middle Ages artifacts, and it was built. So first it was very long time, it was a Roman bath right in the middle of Paris.
Yeah.
So just for that reason, go there, have a look at it. It's incredible.
It's like 2,000 years old or something, right?
Yeah. It's a second to third century. And it's very well preserved thanks to all the work they made. So there is a Roman bath to visit. Then the Cluny Museum is really a cheval in French, so in the middle of this Roman structure and also a 16th century abbey. So you have in the walls, you have the impression to be in a Harry Potter books, but it could be in a castle. You have this impression to be in a real castle. So there is this, plus inside you have beautiful stained glasses, you have swords, really old middle-aged sword that are worth to see, but just again the museum itself, the every room you feel like you're in another dimension. So there's also the original statues of Notre Dame to visit there. So just for so many things to.
They got the tapestries as well.
And of course, I forget about the most known one is the tapestry of La Dame à la Licorne, which is not just one tapestry. It's actually an ensemble of 6 tapestry, and those are a work that is so fine and delicate and not to miss for sure in Paris.
And you can really. I remember when I heard about those tapestries, I remember thinking, I don't know if I care about tapestries, and then I went in there and I really made an effort. Stunning. Yeah. The story behind what it all means, stunning.
And you're right, like people are not really moved usually by tapestry, but when you realize there is like those, hundreds of hours of, very tiny wood, and then you realize and you're like, okay, this is just amazing.
I thought it was more moving than the famous one in Bayonne.
Bayeux? Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't really speak to me. I don't know why.
The battle one?
Yeah.
I mean, Lady and the Unicorn, the one in Cluny, has this very poetic, romantic also.
That's
feeling.
why.
It's very sensual also.
I'm a romantic, sensual.
Yeah, it's all of it. No, it's interesting. Like for tapestry also of that time, it's usually I would say the figure are usually Mary and Jesus and things like that. This is completely different. This is really the romantic and the love. Like it's very Parisian motive in a way.
Do you know why is it called the Cluny Museum?
Oh, it's because of the abbey that was there. It was the Abbey of Cluny. Okay. So they kept the name Cluny, and that's why.
I think it is underrated. I think it's a really exceptional part of that of the city that's totally overlooked. Completely. But that gives us 10 things that we've done, overrated and underrated. I think deep down, you love them all.
Of course,
except maybe the Champs-Élysées. I think.
No, I mean, I think you know what? My best experience on the Champs-Élysées, I did drink a little bit. I took my bike and I just went, down the Champs-Élysées by bike at night. Yeah. That was the best moment, one of the best moments I had in Paris. So I think Champs-Élysées is great when you have friends, when, you just enjoy. It just don't expect the Champs-Élysées to bring you something. Yeah. Just be, free on the Champs-Élysées and have fun. Yes, and of course, when you're young in Paris, you're going to clubs, dancing clubs at the Champs-Élysées. So Champs-Élysées is also fun at night, probably better at night.
But if you're looking for the romantic bohemian version of the song, go to Rue des Abbesses. Ooh, Rue des Abbesses. Ba-dum, ba-dum, bum. I think that will wind things up today. Mary Segura from My Private Paris. If people are looking to do walking tours of not just Paris but beyond, we've been doing these day trips every month. Yeah. It's My Private Paris. That's where you want to be. It's linked below. You guys are sponsoring this show. I'm loving it. I'm having fun. I'm loving picking your brains and learning about the city. But I want everybody at home to do the same thing. So if you're thinking to book a tour in Paris, go no further than My Private Paris. And maybe, if you're lucky, you'll meet Marie. Are you out there doing the tours very often?
Yeah, of course.
Every day?
Not every day. Not in winter, though.
I don't blame you. Okay, but thanks for sharing a list, and let us know in the comments below what you think is overrated, underrated, and what we got wrong. But until next time, Marie, thanks very much.
Thank you.